So obviously they're blindfolded and drugged, and Maylin wakes up in a prisoner tower. They all start to get tortured and interrogated by Simma's General Hui, and none of them are breaking. They dang near break Maylin's legs off. No one is breaking. No one's telling them any information. If anything, they're just lying through their teeth, especially Maylin. Until finally, you guessed it, Sparrow. Maybe you didn't guess it, but Sparrow breaks and he tells them that it's Ren. Ren brought me on this mission. He told me I had to come on this secret mission. It was him. The gallows. Send him to the gallows. How are you gonna throw your friend under the bus? You're supposed to be her ride or die. You should have just died. Sparrow does apologize right away. He's like, oh my god, I'm sorry, Ren. I didn't mean to tell him. What's an apology gonna do if she had gotten killed because you decided to give her away? Instead of killing her, General Hui decides to give her opium to help her sleep. At which point, she freaks the freak out. Because obviously she grew up under an opium addicted father. Very triggering for her. She begins to channel her spirit power despite being shackled by iron. She channels enough power to crack the shackles, the iron shackles, but not enough. They're not cracked enough for her to escape, but it's cracked enough for her to freak out General Hui, and they leave them alone for the night. At this point, I was unsure of how her traveling companions, how none of them knew that she had spirit power, unless the crack was just teeny tiny, more of a sliver than a crack. General Hui takes her before Ming Lei, and she is surprised. To her great surprise, Lei is one of the princes of Jimmy. General Hui, being the scary loser that he is, he tells about her obvious powers, and instead of Lei executing her at this point, which would have been a smart move if you ask me, he decides instead to set her up in a pretty room with their healer, Autumn. Now, Autumn reminds her of her stepmother, Juing, and so that makes her trust Autumn. Autumn's tending to her wounds, so she obviously discovers that she's a woman, and Autumn tells her, I won't tell Lei that you're a woman until you've healed. Autumn is so kind, and it's not going to tell Lei that she is a woman. Maylin didn't trust her with her true name. Big mistake if you ask me. If you're in enemy territory, even if they seem kind, should you give out any information about yourself? Really? No. But I think it does say something about Maylin, that somehow Autumn's kindness was enough to get information out of her, even though torture wasn't. And then once she is fully recovered, boom, Lei wants to see her. He reveals that Autumn has in fact told her secrets, that she's a woman and that her name is Maylin. Shocker. She works for him. She was so blown away that Autumn gave away her secrets for some reason. She's loyal to her kingdom and to her prince, just like you are. This is where Lei lost me, because he was described as beautiful. I want to believe in a beautiful man. He tells her to undress. Why does she need to undress if Autumn already told you that she's a woman? You have to see it for yourself? You don't. At this point, I said, stop the music, cut the cameras. I'm done. I was rooting for her to kill him here, but alas, she is still unarmed and shackled with iron. So what does she do? She undresses. Very, very much creepy to me on Lei's part. And I think I don't know what the author was trying to do, because Lei is supposed to be the second love interest, which you'll see in a moment. I don't know what the author was trying to do by putting this scene in there, because honestly, it's just gross for him to have had her undressed while she was powerless, and then we just move past it. Setting aside these reprehensible actions for a moment, they have a conversation about the war. And we learn that Lei doesn't believe that power should be concentrated in the hands of a few. It's a terrible story from when he was young about how his mother was killed in a truly gory fashion in front of him at the behest of his father, all in the name of power. I believe that this scene was right after the scene where he makes her undress to make you warm up to his character, because how else could a POW, prisoner of war, warm up to their captor other than to bond through trauma, through a mutual shared hate of their respective fathers. He hates his father, she hates her father. Now we're bonded. The story also makes him seem a bit more human. In his few appearances before this, he always came across as very sly and just playing mind games. In this moment when he tells this story, very vulnerable, and in this scene, he does have a bruise across his cheek. It's revealed that his father gave him the bruise, and so she thinks, so you can be a prince and still be made to feel powerless. After hearing that story and learning that his father is also abusive, she feels bad for him naturally. As a human being, you hear something like that, you're going to feel bad for them. But I guess the way that she looks at him, he takes it for pity. And that absolutely makes him furious. Because I'm not one to be pitied. Insinuates that Sky only kept her around as the company whore, and she tries to kill him with 2 porcelain cups. Honestly, understandable. I do the same. So this conversation leads her to act. She said, I tried to sympathize with this man and he flipped out like he was crazy. He is crazy. She tricks Autumn into taking off one of her iron shackles. Big mistake. Big mistake, Autumn. Think twice. Use the brain cells in your head. She gets hit in the diaphragm. And then Maylin still doesn't want to hurt her, even though she did tell her secrets. She just compels her to go to sleep. She deserved that hit to the diaphragm, if you ask me. Because even if she's loyal to her prince, she acted like she was Maylin's friend and then went and told all her secrets. If anything, just don't pretend to be a friend. She talks to Qinglong again, and he is not amused that she has been captured and held captive. He urges her to leave her friends behind because, once again, this dragon is only worried about her retrieving Zhu Chui's seals, and she refuses to leave them. She said, you can help me or not, but I'm all you got. Reluctantly, Qinglong helps her with her escape plan. When she reaches where the others are being held, her way is blocked by 6 soldiers plus General Hui. Now, she can't compel all of these men with Qinglong's powers because she spent so long refusing to learn how to harness her Lijiao spirit power, and so she has to do it the old-fashioned way once again. She decides to sword fight these 6 men, and she starts out well. I will give her that, and I recognize her bravery. But was she going to win against 6 men in a sword fight? No. She's quickly disarmed, and General Hui, that freaking loser, grabs her by her wrist. She finally successfully uses her Lijiao in the coolest way possible. She sharpens water droplets, once again, water droplets, into ice daggers and sends them to impale all the soldiers. She gets General Hui in his right eye. She frees the others and they run for the stables where they steal 2 horses. For a few sweet, sweet moments, she tastes freedom again. She feels the sun on her skin. She hears the birds for the first time since she's been locked up, and they think they home free. Wrong. Very short-lived. Lei comes riding up, leading a platoon of soldiers, and Maylin decides she has to stay behind and let her friends go ahead of her. She wasn't sure herself if she used compulsion to make them leave. I'm 97% sure that she used compulsion because I don't see any world, timeline, or universe where Sky would have left her behind by herself. As the others are getting away, she hops off of her horse. A huge wave. I was rooting for her, but once again, he's the smartest one in the room. She's hit by an iron-laced arrow in the shoulder, and the archer is none other than Lei. She goes down. She's down for the count. That short-lived escape of hers was so freaking jarring to me. She wasn't even free and reunited with the others for an entire chapter before that freaking psycho Lei comes through and shoots her with an arrow. And she's in an even worse position than she was when she wakes up. Because her friends are gone. She wakes up with her arm in a sling and her uniform is gone. Where she had sold her jade so that it couldn't be stolen like Simmons was. But they still stole her clothes. So it's all bad. Like, she's powerless and one-handed at this point. Pack it up. She made this sacrifice for her friends, and she doesn't even believe that Sky will come back for her. She believes that he'll put his duty first and continue to march the army to where they need to be. Also, after her escape attempt, she gets higher security. She has to wear chains all the time, and everyone knows that she's a woman. Not her companions. They're long gone. Everyone that is holding her prisoner and the guards and everything, they all know that she's a woman. Very unfortunately, I caught a cold of some sort and was down for a week. So here we are, 1 week later, filming the final part of this video. So afterward, she has a conversation with Lay where he reveals that the only way a spirit jade can be destroyed is if the spirit medium themselves destroys it. But to destroy a spirit jade would then kill their medium. So really, who is going to destroy their own jade and kill themselves? Which directly contradicts low-key with what Qinglong told her. Because he told her, give me the jade and I'ma handle it. It's one more reason why we can never trust a dragon. Y'all, General Hui charges into her room with an eye patch and a deplorable mission. And Autumn tries to stop him. She's like, hey, you can't be in here. You need to leave. He slaps her. And Maylin, always the protector, tells her, girl, just run. You gotta go. Maylin tries to put up a fight, but again, arms still messed up, and she still has the beefed up chains on her arms after her escape attempt. So really, she didn't have a chance. He tries to violate her. That's an eye for an eye. He decides, you shot my eye out, sir. I'm going to take your clothes off. He breaks her elbow and starts to undo his pants. In what universe? Who asked you to do this? How did you come to this conclusion that this was the way? Suddenly, he was thrown off me, flung against the wall with a resounding crack. Immobilized by pain, I could not so much as react. I watched in a stupor as Lei withdrew a curved dagger and with little ceremony gouged out the general's other eye. Ugh, that's the man right there. That's an eye for an eye, actually. Of everything that was happening in that situation, that was the most normal thing he could have done. Just taking an eye. Get you a man that will gouge out another man's eye for you. That's the true test of love. Me blatantly ignoring all his other red flags in this moment. Maylin asks Autumn, will I die? The voice that answered was not the one I'd been expecting. No, said Lei, you will not. I could not see his face, but I could hear the lethal emotion in his voice. I protect what's mine. You protect what's what? Yours. Because all you've done is lie, scheme, shoot her in the shoulder. What's mine? Honestly, he almost got me because that only work in books. She's mine. But you, sir, you have no right. If you ask me, at this point in time, you have no right to be like, I protect what's mine. In what universe? A touch her and die morally gray mailman character will always get me. That's the one thing he got going for him. She wakes up with both of her arms rendered useless. After 10 days, Lace shows up and says that he has a lead on the third jade piece, which, how dare he? He should have been sitting beside her bed, freaking absolutely sobbing. Absolutely distraught. What are you doing gone for 10 days? You've once again lost your points. Any points you may have accumulated, which were honestly already at -3. They set out to find the third jade piece, even though Maylin's arms are still as useful as a bowl of noodles. We are at war and we don't have time to mess around. They go with Lei's guards, a monk, and the monk's lynx. They visit this elderly lighthouse keeper who is in possession of the third jade piece because it washed ashore and he found it. He planned to sell it to leave money to his children,
But he was willing to give it to Lay because he, once again, loyal to his kingdom. Though I would have kept that money for some bread for the kids. That's besides the point. He gave it to Lay willingly, and then, you guessed it, or maybe you didn't, Lay poisoned him. Dead on the spot. And honestly, at this point, I should not have been surprised. Everything he's shown me is just like, we gonna be having a moment, everything gonna be going good, and then suddenly you done killed somebody else. Like, can't we calm down? He did only kill him because he said Sima would have been able to track them through the man. I still feel like it was a better way. We could have taken that man into protective custody if we had to. But then again, Lay is a red flag man. At this point, it's not even a flag. It's dang near a comforter. So they're in possession of the third piece of the seal, and somehow the monk metal bends this piece of iron around the jade, which makes it like undetectable to Sima. And Lay wears it as a necklace. They get back to the capital. Lay challenges her to a fight because he thinks it'll be fun and he thinks that she'll enjoy it. And she tells him not to freaking underestimate her. If a woman joins an army, never underestimate that woman. During the fight, she discovered that just like Lay is wearing Sima's jade around his neck, he is wearing her jade around his wrist. And despite being angry, she still feels better after the fight. And this is low-key where the Stockholm Syndrome started kicking in. Like, this is where you really feel her start to warm up to this man. He stole from you. He held you captive. I'm not judging her too harshly, though. Even though you can feel her starting to warm up to Lay, she never loses sight of the fact that he is her enemy and she does need to escape. But you could definitely feel her warming up to him. She then remembers that Lay looked at her with desire before, and she hatches the great seduction plan, where she decides to seduce him. I don't know where she thought she had the skills to seduce somebody, being an 18-year-old, never been kissed virgin. Who exactly were you seducing? So boom, she starts her sexy jutsu, and while she's in the midst of trying to seduce this man, in barges Lay's psycho older brother, Z1, the crown prince of Jiming. Now, I had called Lay a psycho before. I retract my statement because this man showed me what a true psychopath was. He reveals that he leaves tomorrow for the siege on Anlai, and he also reveals that Sky's father is the general that Sima Yi is after for his revenge because of what he did to his family. You heard that right. Our golden boy, our Prince Charming, Sky, his father is the R-worder. He is the assaulter. And he does need to perish immediately. He should have perished 10 years ago before he even had the chance to touch a woman and a child. Then because he's greedy and obviously hates his brother, he decides to kiss Mei Lin. No consent. Where was the consent? There was none given. And Mei Lin, she's a fighter. She, without even thinking about it, she bites him on instinct. Should you bite a psychopath? Maybe not. If you have to free yourself from an unwanted kiss, maybe just make sure you kill him, because he probably will pour hot candle wax on your collarbones as punishment for biting him. Hot candle wax? In what universe was that normal? So Lay rips him off of her. Lay tries to play it off. Like, Lay tries to keep the peace and not even make it seem like he was trying to fight his brother. He was just like, I don't want to share. The brother then decides to hold the candle to Lay's throat and burn him. He holds the flame to Lay's throat long enough for the candle wax to start dripping down his throat, down his chest. And Lay takes it like a boss. He doesn't cry out. He doesn't wince in pain. Nothing. He doesn't even move away. Which, honestly, I got whiplash. Like, one moment we're doing our seduction tactic, and the next moment we're being terrorized, and Lay is being burnt like a witch at the stake. I will be starting a hate campaign for Lay's brother, so everybody get behind me. Mei Lin helps Lay clean his wounds up, bandages them up. As she helps him tend to his wounds, she discovers that he has a plethora of scars, wounds and scars, all left by his dad and his brother. So yes, abusive household. Alexa, play Broken Home by 5 Seconds of Summer. Though Lay is in this pitiful state, Anlai is still in danger. He still has her jade, so Maylin has to finish carrying out her plan. I forced my eyes open and looked up at Lay, at last admitting my attraction to him. There was less separating us than I thought. Undeniably, I was drawn to him, for we shared the same warped greed within us. She kisses him, and at this point, I'm honestly shocked that Lay did not clock her tea. This is not like Maylin at all. So for her to have made these advances towards you, he honestly should have clocked her. But I doubt he was thinking with his head at this moment. Things get a bit heated, if you know what I mean. Hands get to roaming. Let's Get It On starts to play. And while she has him distracted, she unclasps Zhu Chui's seal from his throat, rips her jade from his wrist, and has a knife pressed to his newly burned throat, all in one impressive maneuver. Honestly, I did not believe in her womanly wiles, and that's on me. Maybe I was a hater. I didn't see how she was going to seduce this man, but she did it and achieved everything she set out to do. I admire her never losing sight of her goals, though, even though she obviously has some twisted, convoluted attraction to this man. She never loses sight of what she's fighting for, and that this can't be the one for her for real. Lay calls for his guards, and once again, Maylin is outnumbered and cannot access her Li Jiao. So she uses Lay as a meat shield, and it's like, don't come any closer. I will cut this man. Don't, Lay stirred, his voice hoarse. Maylin, it's too dangerous. It was dangerous, but so was my entire existence. I told you not to underestimate me, I said. Then I jumped. And she jumps off of the balcony into the sea. Tell me you don't love her. I love her. Personally, I would never underestimate a woman who would run away from home and join the army when that's a crime that's punishable by death. Like, she got nothing to lose, honestly. Would you surrender yourself to the world, or would you make the world yours? She hits the water, and you know that hurts. But she pulls on her Li Jiao and her never-ending greed, and somehow is also able to metal bend, like the monk did, to free her jade and basically save herself and reunite with Qinglong. She realizes she lost herself while in captivity. I won't be imprisoned like that ever again. I had lost myself in captivity. I had grown soft, callow, enamored with my captor like a child who mistakes a viper for a pet. I swallowed the lump in my throat and made another promise then. The prince would pay. We accept cash or checks or the tears of our enemies. We're so bad, guys. She did lose herself in captivity, and understandably so, which is why part 2 was so drawing. Like part 1, we saw her go from being weak and naive to conquering a lot of the challenges that she faced, becoming strong, learning more than just her martial arts, like swordplay, gaining friends. And then in part 2, we just see her like really lose everything that was making her, everything that she was discovering about herself. And we see her repeatedly injured, repeatedly under the whims of another, when really what she wanted the whole time was freedom. When she left home, she wanted freedom. My only hope for her after her escape from Lei was just for her to get stronger and embrace her Li Jiao. Even though it seemed like a bad idea. Honestly, all the red flags were there with a dragon. But honestly, without that dragon, she's not winning the war, just like he said. So she's obviously going to try to reunite with her army, which I was very skeptical about, due to the fact that right before they left her behind and she helped them escape, they did discover that she had powers. So I thought she was going to come back and possibly be imprisoned immediately. It took her 6 days to make her way back to the online army, and she surprisingly has a truly touching reunion with Sky. I thought since he reacted so badly to her being a woman, and also because his father is the one who condemned spirit magic so much, I thought that Sky would definitely have turned against her, condemned her, imprisoned her. But he just accepted her. He might be too wholesome for this world. He says that his brother Winter, as previously revealed, also has a spirit affinity, so he's more accepting of it. He's kind. He loves his brother. He adores you. Wipe him up. Leave Lay in the past. One makeout session is not enough to let this man slip away. Sky calls for Sparrow and Tao before they all convene in Winter's tent. He did order Sparrow and Tao not to tell anybody about Maylin's powers before, so we're all good. But they do still look at her with suspicion and apprehension because they're from online. That's their way. They don't believe in spirit magic. They don't trust anything that they don't know. Winter will lead most of the online army to defend Chuangning, since we know that Lay's candle-wielding brother is heading over there for an attack. And Sky, Maylin, Sparrow, and Tao, and along with a few others, will be heading over to Mount Fuji, where Maylin is convinced that Sima will be following a false lead to find his jade, a false lead set by Lay, most likely. She plans to use compulsion to make him destroy his jade and kill himself. Her having him destroy his own seal, ultimately leading to his death, will also lead to her being the last known spirit medium. And she has some concerning thoughts about this. Like, she says she only wants freedom, but then she also thinks once Sima is out of the way, there'll be nobody who can stop her. And I'm like, girl, stop you from what? Now, I'm still, like I said, the book, I don't know if I'm just slow and confused, but I still cannot decipher if that was her, that was the greed they were talking about, her being overly ambitious, or if that was also Qinglong, or honestly a mixture of the both. But it's a difference between being ambitious and being overly ambitious and greedy, and one of them is going to lead to disaster. Y'all, we have a love confession. Our very first love confession. Maylin, he said lowly, there's been something I've been meaning to tell you. Well, you've probably guessed already. I waited. A faint blush rose on his cheeks. Got this man blushing and kicking his feet. He exhaled. I have feelings for you. Oof. I love a good confession, though it came at the worst possible time in my opinion. Like, she's still all twisted up inside and fresh out of captivity. Not Sky's best move in my opinion. I would have waited a little bit. But probably the thought that he had lost her, maybe forever, is really what pushed him. But still, give a girl some time to get out of fight or flight mode. And at this point, he still has no idea about her dalliance, her entanglement with Lay. The plot thickens. He wanted to ask for her hand after the war. Y'all, this is serious business. He's not looking for a girlfriend. He's looking for a wife, Maylin. With everything in the war going on, though, Sky's confession is a drop in the ocean. A change in the weather. His confession feels like an easy, happy future for Maylin, which after seeing her attraction to Lay and their connection, it seems like that happy, easy future doesn't really line up with who Maylin is now. Like, maybe who she was at the beginning of the story when they met and she was like really enamored and loyal to him. But who she is now, which is like kind of greedy and a little twisted, I don't think that her and Sky are endgame. Looking at the relationship, it's like a Elena, Stefan, Damon kind of love triangle. One of them is too wholesome for this world, and the other one is crazy. But that's who is endgame. And I was Team Damon. She also has some very scary thoughts. Like I said, her thoughts stopped being so much about freedom and start being like more and more about power. Like, first she thinks of being a general, and then she thinks of taking the throne through Sky. Could I become a general? A commander of men? Perhaps even a warlord? And what if Sky was the key? Could I take the throne through him? The thought was so foreign, I flinched. This is Qinglong speaking, I realized, not me. With growing unease, I realized I could no longer distinguish the dragon's influence from my own. I can no longer distinguish the dragon's influence from my own. We're in dangerous territory, guys. Even though she recognizes that this is the dragon's influence, it was definitely still like a WTF moment. What are we talking about? This man just confessed to you. He's trying to give you his heart and maybe 3 to 5 babies. and a ring on your finger. And you talking about stealing the throne from him. We can blame Qin Long, but at some point, girl, you gotta take accountability for what you let into your mind. She then asked Sky to kiss her, which sounds great, but in her mind, she's thinking that she wants to know what it feels like to kiss somebody other than him. Girl, stand up. Stand up. That man should not even be a thought in your mind right now. I'm begging you. Do the right thing. Pick the right man. They do kiss, and she tries to very boldly tries to take it further. But Sky, ever the gentleman, said no. I want to treat you right, girl. What did they say? Nice guys finish last. You're not going to beat Lei with these sappy, sad, romantic feelings. Get in there. Not like that, though. That was crazy. That was crazy. I did not mean to say get in there. That's not what I meant. I meant like throw your hat in the ring a little more aggressively. I'm gonna move past this. Once they reach Mount Fushi, Mei Lin has the idea to infiltrate the Summer Palace where Sima Li resides. She has the idea to infiltrate it as a concubine. And Sky hates that idea, obviously. But it's the best idea they got. Because Sky definitely don't have no good ideas rattling around in that empty chrome dome. I swear, I just be coming for Sky at random moments, but I am Team Sky right now. For this plan to work, she has to reveal herself as a woman to Sparrow and Tao. Which somehow they take this revelation worse than finding out that she was a spirit medium. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but I'm like, they act like spirit medium is like the worst thing could be in the world. She revealed herself to be a woman, and they act like she just shot them. And I can understand if it came from a place of like betrayal. You've been lying to me all this time. Is your name even Ren? No. I could see if that was the case. No, it's just thinly veiled misogyny. Like, you shouldn't be here. What's a woman doing in the war? Blah, blah, blah. And for that, they can choke. Tao even thinks that Mei Lin somehow bewitched Sky. Get a grip, actually. They arrive at the palace, all in their disguises, and the guards take Mei Lin in as a courtesan. And she's put with the rest of the courtesans. Some of the courtesans are from Jiming, and they've been loyal to Chancellor Sima, and some of them are like prisoners of war taken from Chuan Ni. She learns that the Chancellor picks from the courtesans every night, so she brews a laxative tea, telling the other courtesans that, it's going to make your skin look better. You're going to look so gorgeous. She sent them all running to the bathroom. Dao Chen is the only one who didn't drink the tea, and she even figures out that Mei Lin is there to kill Sima. Girl, she lucky that Dao Chen is a real one. Because, girl, if it was me, you ain't going to take me down with you. You here to commit an assassination? You don't look like you're going to succeed. I'm going to snitch, and I'm going to tell. I've dreamed of killing that bastard every night since I got here, she said. Pai Zhao claims that what he's doing is acceptable because he's giving us silks to wear and food to eat. But I'll be damned, she hissed, if I have to suck of my sister's murderer for the rest of my life. Dao Chan absolutely ate. Other than Mei Lin, she's my second favorite character. No. She has to tie. Other than Mei Lin, she has to tie with Zhilong as my second favorite character. They're top 3, the Holy Trinity. She ate. She said, I will help you assassinate this man. Also, no respect. I felt so bad for Sima earlier on. And what happened to him is still terrible. That's a terrible past. But you're going along, raising the countryside, killing folks up, and then taking prisoners, and you're sleeping with people who don't want to. That's not consensual. You're paying for sex. And then you're not even paying. You're not paying. You have sex prisoners, and you've killed their family members, and they have to service you. You lucky you haven't been almost assassinated already. Doing nothing to deter an assassination because you hate somebody is the coolest thing you could possibly do. Mei Lin then gives Dao Chan the necklace that contains the jade until she can come back for her. Not only is she an accessory to an assassination now, she's also an accomplice. And I love that for her. So they're in Simba's private rooms, and Diao-chan, a freaking genius, convinces Simba to keep them both. She's my hero. She's making moves. I honestly thought we would have had to see like part 2 of Maylin's seduction technique in this part, which would have been honestly gross and disturbing to witness. So thankfully Diao-chan plays the center role of like trying to seduce this man. Though she tries her hardest to distract him, he almost immediately clocks the iron necklace and knows that something is off. And then, you guessed it, Maylin tries to compel him and fails again. Shocker. I am in disbelief. She failed again. Who would have saw this coming? They enter this stalemate of trying to use compulsion on each other, which isn't really working in either of their favor, until Sima Yi pulls the classic villainous move and compels Diao-chan to kill herself, took off herself. And then Maylin loses the battle because obviously she's a bleeding heart, and she decides to try to save Diao-chan instead of staying in this stalemate with him. And it frustrates me to no end when the good guys always lose because of their compassion. Like, that's irritating. In a truly disturbing moment, she wakes up, shackled in iron. He rips all her clothes off, looking for this jade. Could you be any weirder? He thinks once he's ripped all her clothes off and still can't find her jade, he thinks that she swallowed the jade or something, when obviously she just sewed it into her clothes. Use your head. Maybe he never did a day of housework in his life and just don't know how to sew, because I feel like that was just the obvious place it would be. She failed spectacularly, and Sima is able to make his jade whole. This is her worst moment for me because I have no clue what gave her the confidence to try to engage this man in a battle of compulsion. Like, she known from the start that he embraced his spirit powers, and she was denying them. He was always older, more experienced. Brothers burning the ocean up. He had a great hand in 10,000 deaths. And you thought that you were going to go through and outwit him, outmatch him, and compel him to kill himself. If Lei had not rode to her rescue, all of Anlai would have burned. Lei barges in and frees her, all while Sima is unaware. He has entered the spirit realm to converse with Zuchue and all her great fiery glory. He frees her, and she realizes that Lei was the one to betray Sima. Like, that was not so obvious. She realized that he was the one to betray Sima, not for his own personal gain and in a extreme reach for power, but so that Jimin would not win the war. Obviously, Diao-chan tosses her dress, and she frees her jade from it and tackles Sima into a realm that's not the spirit realm, but is also different from their own, some new shadow realm, I guess. And a battle commences. They engage in an elemental battle in this new realm where they're pretty much evenly matched as far as strength and in power. And she realizes that brute force is not the way to go. It has to be compulsion. Getting your revenge won't make you any less lonely. Nothing you do will bring your family back, Yi. Your revenge only makes you more of a slave to Zuchue's whims. Do you remember who you were before you found her seal? Destroy the seal, I said, my voice echoing with Li Zhao. Not because you want to. Not because you're noble or kind. But because you once were. Do it for the boy you once were. At last, he reached into his chest and pulled out his spirit seal. Maylin wins when Sima realizes that he doesn't recognize himself anymore. His wife probably wouldn't recognize him or even embrace this version of him. He also realizes he doesn't remember his daughter's name. Zuchue took that from him along with a lot of other things, his entire personality, his freaking principles, all that. Phenomenal writing. Like, I actually freaking cried at this part because I just felt so bad. All he wanted for his life and himself was for his family to be happy and at peace, and that was not his fate. I wish nothing but evil on Sky's father, and even I would like to say, even though I feel very bad for Sima and everything that was, all the harm that was dealt to him, it doesn't excuse the pain that he dealt onto others. So that's two sides of it. But honestly, the scene was incredible. Qinglong is angry. He's angry with Mei Lin because he specifically told her to bring that seal to him. And he says, "You deceived me. I told you to bring me Zuchue's seal, not destroy it. You told me to give it to you so that you could destroy it yourself. I simply accomplished your task for you. You should be thanking me." He hissed, slithering even closer to me. "You're even worse than your mother," he said, yellow eyes flashing with venom. "I should have you die a worse death than her." I went utterly still. "You killed my mother?" Right here, I destroy my own jade. I don't care about the consequences. How are you just going to casually drop that you killed my mother? Am I a joke to you? You think that this is a game? Does anything about what Mei Lin has done in this entire journey make you think that she is someone to be played with? She wants to confront Qinglong after that little truth bomb, but he decides to disappear like a little rat. Are you a dragon? Or are you a rat? She wakes up with Sky on one side of her and Lei on the other side of her. They were both obviously concerned for her safety, but once she wakes up, it descends into an all-out chaotic fight where Lei is almost killed by Tao, but Mei Lin saves his life. And then she says she's not even sure why she saved his life. "I'm sure why you saved his life. You still want that man. You still want that man," when Sky is right there. He right there, and girl, he wants your hand in marriage. You still worried about this guy. This guy. I said, be real, girl. You saved him because you like him. Plain and simple. Sky decided to take him prisoner instead of killing him, which is kind of a full circle moment, since that's exactly what Lei did. He took Sky prisoner instead of killing him. But unlike Sky, Lei can't keep his mouth shut. So he provokes Sky, and Sky kicks him in the face. Fully deserved. Even a golden boy has to once in a while kick a man in the face. I don't take that away from him. And then the worst thing in this book happens. They say that Dao Chan has died. She died in a scuffle? I'm like, at no point, she didn't even get an on-page death. You cannot make a character that cool and she only lasts like 3 chapters and you kill her off. She was so cool. They killed the coolest characters in the book. Mei Lin is the last one standing. Honestly, had to put the book down and take a break because the author was once again playing with my feelings. Mei Lin loses her absolute ever-loving mind and genuinely feels madness closing in it and contemplates suicide again. Like, girl, she always on the edge, if you ask me. She always on the edge. She said the slightest inconvenience, and that's her 13th reason why. Though, okay, it's not the slightest inconvenience. Because honestly, that was your best friend. In those 3 chapters, that was your best friend, and she died. Sky tells her that the war is over now that she killed Chancellor Sima, which is honestly not comforting. On their journey back to Chuangning, Mei Lin has a conversation, another conversation. All they do is talk. All they do is talk. They have another conversation while Lei is the one in chains for once, which is a nice change. She's seeking closure from him or possibly an apology, which at this point, if you like him so much, I don't know why she don't know this man at this point. He definitely felt justified in everything that he did because he got that ends justifies the means mindset. He was like, I'm stopping the war, baby. There will be casualties. He does reveal that his own mother had the ability to foretell the future, which honestly gives him just extra bonus points because a cool mom is the coolest thing you can have. She told me a girl with golden eyes would have the power to change my fate. The fate of the 3 kingdoms. But she failed to foretell what a little menace she'd be. And how distracting. My bad. And how distracting. Don't try to spit game while you're in chains. Be silent. Be silent. Your time has passed. Honestly, because I'm not rooting for you right now. I don't care. I'm not rooting for him. I'm not. He also warns her not to trust others so wholeheartedly. And honestly, he's right. As usual, he's almost always right when he's on the page. Other than when he's being a freak. A freak of nature, if you will. Freak of nature. He warns her not to trust others so wholeheartedly. He sees right through her. She already recognized that about herself. That She has a problem with trusting people too easily because she wants to be accepted and she wants to belong. And she should have listened to him. When they reach Chuang Ning, they are immediately summoned by the warlord. And Mei Lin thinks about the fact that Sparrow has ignored her for a week and just replaced her with new friends. He's a freaking loser. After everything that they've been through, he can't give over the fact that she's a woman. What does it really change? Like, again, he's not upset about the lion. Because honestly, if he had a conversation with her, he would realize what her circumstances was and what led her to having to disguise herself as a man. No, he is just misogynistic. As he has made comments in the past that were extremely misogynistic, and they were red flags that I did not clock because I was thinking like, oh, he's such close friends with Ren that once Ren reveals to be Mei Lin, he would realize like, hey, I was wrong. No. They reach the palace and the warlord is heaping praise onto Mei Lin. Like, he's really raising her up. He's commended her for like her bravery, her prowess in battle, just like overall, baby. Basically, he telling them she won us the war. She won us the war. She saved the kingdom. Okay, he even offers her a higher position. But no, an insecure, hateful man will always ruin everything for everyone else. In this case, there were two insecure, hateful men. Listen to this. Tao said, "It is a perversion to our kingdom and our social order. Hai Ren is a liar and a traitor." He was too much of a punk to even finish off his sentence. He didn't even say the killing blow. Sky little rat weasel, he was the one who said, Hai Ren is a woman. In no universe, I was speechless. Genuinely, jaw dropped, hand over mouth, freaking gobsmacked. I didn't see this betrayal coming. You couldn't, if that betrayal had been on a missile, and in neon letters it said, Sparrow and Tao hate women so much that they will throw their friend under the bus. And that missile had that message printed on it and had been heading for me straight on. And I had my glasses on. I can see. I still would not have seen that betrayal coming from even a mile away. All the signs were there, but I stupidly believed in the power of friendship. And that's my own fault. Maybe I should stop watching so much anime. How absolutely low do you have to be to offer your friend up for execution? Because they know that's what was going to happen to her. You signed your friend up to get killed for being a woman. She saved the kingdom. She saved Sparrow multiple times. Everything they had been through, all the battles they saw. Execution. Electric chair. Or whatever it is they do in this time. Probably the gallows, like I've been saying. The gallows. The warlord gives Mei Lin two options, which is more than I thought he would do. I'll give him that. I'll give him nothing, actually. Cannot stand that man. He gives her two options. She tells her that she can return to the life of a woman, to never touch a sword again, answer to her father, answer to her husband, never leave the women's quarters, or she can be imprisoned for life. Which she says is not even a choice, and it's really, really not. Like, if anything, the only thing he should have been saying was, wow, I applaud you. A woman saved this kingdom. You were just commending Hai Ren, but now it's Hai Mei Lin, and she gotta be a woman, or she gotta go to prison. The double standards here are so atrocious, so absurd. The absolute absurdity of the logic of men. You're telling me that a woman can save a kingdom. She saved the entire kingdom. And you would still condemn her. Can you guess what she chose? She doesn't even put up a fight as she's arrested. That's like, girl, go down swinging. But she didn't fight for so much. She didn't fight for so long. I'll give her. She was like, I'll be shell shocked. I would give up. I would be defeated. And then Tao, like he hadn't done enough damage, he tells them that they have to strip her and check her because she carries a demon stone. A demon stone. This demon stone saved your kingdom. I can't reiterate enough. She saved the kingdom. I just need one lock of his hair. And I will handle him. And then Sparrow, why are you doing this? Is it truly so abhorrent to you that I wish to live freely? I saved your life. I saved all your lives. Sparrow, what you're doing, it's selfish. It's wrong. I can't allow it. Then we be criminals too. You can't allow what? You've done nothing the entire book. You've done nothing of note. Did you save the kingdom? What part of it was selfish? She saved him countless times. She saved the kingdom. She saved all of the citizens. And yet, she's a criminal. The logic is lacking. The math is not mathing. What did Julian say? They would never let a woman hold on to power. And that's what it boils down to. They can't see past their insane superiority complex and just wish to continue to lord themselves over women. Unjustly. Maylin is in this prison. She's in this prison losing her mind. I mean, that mind was already half gone. Let's be honest. Imagine what imprisonment would do to her. A woman who could take power away from those who held it threatened the welfare of the state. I lay back in my prison cell, and at last I let myself laugh. Madness, I knew, was catching. They had locked me away and forced me to submit, and now they believed themselves secure, their power restored, their ways of life cemented in stone. But they did not know they were not safe, and I would never relent. This book takes you on such a journey. You see Maylin go from being a prisoner of her circumstances to a strong woman posing as a man to a prisoner again of an enemy prince, but just to be freed again, just to go back to being a prisoner. I don't think I have any character that I cannot stand more than Sparrow. He's gutless, he's spineless, like the power of friendship. You disprove the power of friendship. I wish nothing good for this man. Honestly, the gallows. I hope that Maylin gets her spirit jade back, loses her absolute mind with Qinglong, and just takes them all out. The warlord, Tao, definitely Sparrow, definitely her father, and let us not forget Lay's brother. Yeah, let's not forget him. All in all, I love this book. Honestly, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think it was anything about it that I didn't like. I didn't like a lot of characters, and Maylin was dragging it. She was dragging, just connecting the dots that she needed to connect. But again, I'll tell you, I love her, and I excuse her of all her wrongdoings. Other than letting Qinglong die. But still, I have to let it go. I love Maylin as the lead character. She was very strong. The choice that she made, not a lot of people would make. Is not easy. And her contrasting desires throughout the book was really interesting to read. Like, she had this one desire to fit in, to conform, to be accepted, and then she had the other desire to be recognized, to be great, to really be feared and respected. I feel like those were like just two contrasting desires that she was like really, that was like, I feel like it was kind of worn together the whole book. And then like the added layer of her and Qinglong thoughts mixing, the suspense of it all. I think it was incredible. Honestly, I feel I did give Lay a lot of hate. I do believe that Lay will be her endgame. Just because of how it all played out, I think Lay will be her endgame, even though that man, I feel like book 2, he has to do something to really like move me for me to be rooting for him for real. Thank you for watching. For more videos like this and maybe some different formats, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications if you like to be notified when I post more videos. This is my first one, so fingers crossed you guys like it. Thanks for sticking around this long if you made it here. Bye.